Now supposing you take somebody who is a very intelligent person. The intelligent person puts all his attention in capturing the attention of others. I don't know why, but it's a kind of a paradox. The person who himself is having such a lot of aggressiveness and all that, tries to be very sweet, tries to be very nice with people, just to keep good relations, or we can say the good behavior towards people, so that they pay attention to that person. This is a very subtle thing. They are not even aware about it, that we do such a thing just to make others pay attention to us. That is how we have seen that in these modern times, so many stupid things people do just to attract the attention of others. Most of the fads that had come up in modern times are just to make something stupid so that people should pay attention to them. Of course, the Sahajogis are not like that. But I'm just pointing it out, how in the modern times you have to be very careful that you should not try to attract the attention of others. Instead of that, what you have to do is to pay attention to others in a very subtle way, not with any expectation that if you are paying attention to somebody, that person should pay attention to you. It's a very big struggle I have seen in Sahaja Yoga also, that people try to say, become very popular or become very outstanding or something of a very great qualities to show off that they are something better than others. A person who is really in connection with the divine is least bothered about how people pay attention to that person, but automatically the attention of such a person is on others, which is very, very subtle, very subtle. You cannot make out that the attention of such a person is on you, but it works, and it works beautifully. We have to understand that we have now come to the realm of the divinity. We are in the kingdom of God and we are divine people. We are very powerful people. But if we fritter away our attention, we become very, very weak people. It's easy to feel that we are Sahajogis, we have done so much of realization of others, or we have helped so many people. All this consciousness, if it comes within you, then know that you are still not fully developed Sahajogis. There should be no consciousness of what you are doing or what you are committing. There is no need to boast about it. There is no need to advertise it. Whatever you are is already can be seen by everyone. But even that desire is not needed, because you are doing just for the satisfaction of your spirit. So then when we come to our heart, in the heart resides the spirit, as you know very well. Now when it is the heart which has to work over your brain, and which can work, what becomes of you is nothing but you become a source of love and compassion. A source, I am saying. You do not assert on others. You do not say that I have done so much for you and what are you doing to me? What is this that I should have so much expressed in so many ways, and here you are forgetting me and not doing anything for me. So the expectation of reward, if it is there, then you must know it's your mind which is giving you these ideas and is working it out that way that you just now put attention to the amount of love the other person has given you for whatever you have given to another person. It's very subtle. So in Sahaja Yoga, you should see now yourself as just a source of love which is just flowing. In that you do not say that you have to have this or that, or you have to achieve this goal, or you have to become that. It's finished now. Once you have become the source, then how can you become something? The thing is, those who are receiving from the source want to have some sort of a reward or some sort of a recognition. In this subtle way, if you move, your mind is very clever. In Sahaja Yoga, we have very clever, intelligent people. But this mind, you have to be very careful. Because this mind can cheat you. So ask your mind, why are you in Sahaja Yoga? What is the purpose of your Sahaja Yoga? Gradually this mind will shut up. And then you have to ask yourself that what is my own desire now? What do I want? What do I want to achieve? Why I am in Sahaja Yoga? If you ask this question, you will see you will just dissolve. You will become thoughtless because there is no desire left now. There is no ambition left, no competition. All these qualities are of the brain, or we can say of the intellect, which makes you competitive, which makes you also jealous. So jealousy is also a product of this competitiveness, because when two persons are competing or many are competing and one is selected, others become jealous. I mean, instead of feeling happy, all right. So one of us has become something, so we should be very happy that he has become. On the contrary, the other people feel jealous. Why has he become? Who is he? What does he think of himself? Then they go further. Not you people, but on the whole people go further with it. And what do? Is to harm another person. In Sahaja Yoga, people are also sometimes very worried and frightened. There is no need to be worried or frightened, because now you have become a Sahaja Yogi and a Guru. Nobody can touch you. Anybody who tries to touch you will be subsided somehow or other. Of course, I don't do anything as such, but today only I heard that in Turkey there were two newspapers who were after Sahaja Yoga writing all nonsensical things. So the first one met with an accident and died. I didn't do that. The second one had two people, editor and sub-editor, were killed and somebody cut their throats. Of course, I didn't do that. Some fundamentalist must have done, or somebody must have done. Now, we don't have to worry as to who criticizes you, they say it about you, because you must know they are blind people. They are absolutely blind, they are not matured as far as the wisdom is concerned. For them to understand Sahaja Yoga is not possible. They go up to a point and then they stop. They cannot go further, because this dissolution of your being, as I said, the drop becomes the ocean. Is difficult, especially in the West, where there are so many ideas of their own identifications and of their own personalities. Now, it is quite again a paradox that we don't want people to dress up indecently or we don't want people to behave indecently. Decency is a very big part of Sahaja Yoga. So one can ask that, Mother, when you say you have to completely dissolve, then why should we have this dignity? Why should we worry about having a dignity? It's quite all right. This question is all right. The answer is like this. Supposing you put a drop of some filth in the ocean, then the ocean can become dirty. If you put some poison, then the whole ocean can become poisonous. In the same way, whatever is not congenial to the ocean, to this divine power, should not be done. Otherwise, you will spoil the whole of it. We have had experience. We have had Sahaja Yogis who were leaders also, and they tried to be quite funny, and the whole collectivity was spoiled. One person who is not a good person can spoil the whole collectivity. The one who is then a leader on top of that is even worse. So one has to understand that when you are becoming a drop of the ocean, this ocean is the pure ocean of love. In that, you should not do something that will create repulsion, frustration, or even sometimes it can create a very grotesque image of the whole ocean. That is why we have to be decent people, decorous people. It is not that in any way we want you to be like a dandy people or anything, but what it means that you must respect your body, respect yourself, and a respectable personality you should have. Too much indulgence to that is not proper. But it should be such that you should respect yourself. It's very important. If you cannot respect yourself, you cannot respect at all the divinity within you. It's like a decoration of the divinity that your whole behavior, your whole attire has to be in such a way that people should know that he is a decent man. Indecent things have come out and have become now a everyday fashion. And they go on coming one after another because of the entrepreneurs. And we are playing into the hands of entrepreneurs. But if you know what dress you have to wear and what is good for you, once for all you have to decide. Now the attention should not be also wasted in that today I'll wear this kind of a sari, tomorrow I'll wear that kind of a dress, third day, because that also spoils the attention. But if it is a decent thing, it's perfectly all right, and that will really make you feel dignified within yourself. In modern times, as the people are, I don't think they have much respect for themselves. You see very highly posted people, highly placed people doing all kinds of nonsensical things like cheating, like having relations with people who are of dishonorable position. All this is happening. If you see in the newspaper, you are shocked how these people at the helm of affairs could be like this, because they are still not matured enough to know where are they, what is their position, how they have to be. If you are mature enough, then you will understand that, say, I am a housewife, I am such a minister, I am prime minister, how I should be. That all that achievement they have outside remains outside, doesn't go inside. But for a Sahaja Yogi, it should be absorbed within. It has to be absorbed within so that the attention is not wasted too much.